If anyone ever told you that you could not get a large personal loan approved, tell them that I said they are wrong. Because in today's conversation, I'm going to show you how to get approved for a large personal loan no matter what. Stick around. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, we have a clear idea of what we have to talk about. All right? How do you get a large personal loan approved no matter what? By no matter what, I mean what? I mean whether you have bad credit, low credit, no credit, fair credit, average credit, whatever it is, whatever your financial situation, your personal financial situation, we've got a proven method to allow you to get the personal loan that you need. And if you just stick around for 10, 15 minutes, I promise you that you will know from today on how to get approved 100% for any large personal loan that you need. But first thing you need to understand is that there are a couple of things you need to do. A couple of things. First, you need to check your credit report before applying. You need to know exactly where you're at. Exactly in terms of, are you in the 500s? Are you in the 600? What's your FICO? Are you low, no credit, bad credit, whatever it is? You got to have that so that you, when you check your credit history, what will happen here is that you will see, and you know what? The cool thing is there is a website called annualcreditreport.com, and that website is so fantastic because every year you are allowed to actually pull up your credit report for free, folks. No ka-ching, no ka-ching. No, you can actually pull up the credit report for free, and when you look into that. If there are any errors or inconsistencies, you want to actually contact the lender, the credit card issuer, or the lender, or the bureau itself. There are ways to do this via email, via letter. You can call them, and you just get it fixed. All right, and then you need to also pay off debt. If you have existing debt, you want to really take care of that. That's a secret, but it is. You got to take care of that, and you also want to talk to your existing financial institutions. Banks, credit unions, to sort of sort out whatever issues. If you have some issues with them, you want to sort it out. One thing you also want to think about is that I want you to think large here. Just don't think local when it comes to getting a large personal loan approved. No matter what, you want to think about online lenders. This is kind of important. And if need be, think about, you want to prepare yourself to pick the loan funds up in person. If your lender has a brick and mortar location, ask if you can pick up the funds at the branch so you can get the money faster, right? And there are a lot of ways you can do. There is no universal formula for winning approval of a personal loan application, but there are ways you can boost your chances of getting your approved loan faster. And while we're at it, make sure also that you are prepared. Being prepared is very important, and this is what I'm going to talk to you now in terms of the step-by-step of getting a large loan approved, no matter what. Step number 1, run the numbers. Very important. Now, you want to run the numbers to understand where you are at financially speaking and how much you can afford. Okay, the last thing you or your lenders want is for you to take out a personal loan and not be able to afford it, right? Or not be able to afford to pay it off. While lenders typically do their due diligence to make sure you have the ability to repay the debt, it's kind of smart to run your own numbers to make sure it will work out. Why? Because nobody knows you than yourself. You know yourself. You know what's going on in your family, in your relationship. You know the kids, you know all the expenses you have to go through. You know the budget that you have to stick to every month to make things happen. So you know the numbers. So you have to think about not only the amount of the loan you're going to pay back, but also the things like origination fees, closing costs, and that kind of stuff. If you have no idea, please right now go online, just type personal loan calculator. You will see gazillions of results, and you could just pick one. You have a lot of resources like NerdWallet, Nav. Those are pretty cool. Bankrate. You can just tap their personal loan calculator to find out what your monthly payment will be. So step number one, run the numbers. Spend some time. Again, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's not. You don't have to have a master's degree in quantitative finance to understand that. It's very simple. You can even download some apps if you want to. Step number two, I want you to clean up your credit. Very important. So once you go to that website I was telling you about, the annualcreditreport.com, once you have that, if you want to check your reports for errors, okay, dispute any errors online in writing or by phone. And basically, by law, you are entitled to one free credit report every 12 months. And basically, you can contact Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion to get your records. And please get on top of payments. All right? Get on top of payments. One thing I want to tell you here is that there's something called credit utilization ratio. And you want to have that as low as possible, because your credit utilization ratio and your payment history have a great impact on your FICO, which has a great impact on your ability to get approved for loans. So it's something you have to think about. Another way to work on your credit score is to request a credit limit increase. If you currently have a credit card, for example, and you're not using it, please don't close the card. That would be the worst. That would be the dumbest mistakes you would have made. But if your card is there and you have a good relationship with the credit card issuer, I want you right now to ask to request an increase, because requesting an increase has the beautiful transformative nature of reducing your credit utilization ratio, which in turn improves your credit score. All right. Step number three, folks, I want you to consider your options. So when we're talking about getting a large personal loans, no matter what, you want to know which options you have. Depending on your credit worthiness, you may need a cosigner to get approved for a personal loan, especially if you want a decent interest rate. If you can't find a cosigner, or the lenders you are considering don't allow cosigners, you may have the option to get a secure personal loan instead of an unsecured one. But guess what? The good news is that you can also apply it online. That's kind of cool too. You can apply online. There is a constellation of online lenders, alternative lenders, local banks, local credit unions that you can actually think about when it comes to your loan options. And those options can actually help you, depending on your loan application, help you reduce the APR that you're paying. Okay. And step number four, I want you to know factors that will affect your interest rates, because the whole conversation about getting a large personal loan is about what? It's about the cost of the loan, right? Because the cost of the loan will impact how much you have to repay the monthly installment. So you need to pay attention to the cost of the loan. And what are the factors that will affect your interest rate? You have your credit score. That one is kind of easy. There's something called the debt to income ratio, which is also it is kind of analogous. It's kind of identical, kind of similar to the credit utilization ratio. So your DTI, debt to income ratio, is the amount of your monthly debt divided by your monthly gross income. So generally, a low DTI ratio is a signal to lenders that you can manage monthly payments on a new personal loan. Okay, so low DTI, low CUR, credit utilization ratio, although the lower the better. Another criterion that impacts the interest rate is the loan term. So generally, loans with shorter repayment terms offer lower interest rates, and a longer repayment term typically means a higher interest rate. And that kind of makes sense, because lenders are thinking, the longer the loan term, the higher the risk. What if something happens to you? They need to cover their ass too. So it's all about risk mitigation from the lender's perspective. Okay, what about cosigners? So this also could affect the interest rate. Again, if you have poor credit and you have no credit, and you're trying to boost your chances of getting a large personal loan approved, no matter what, it could be. I think I said that earlier. You need to have a cosigner if you can afford it, right? In other words, if you have a family member or somebody in your entourage who is kind enough to kind of back you up, to kind of help you out, that's fantastic. And you want to make sure though that the cosigner is in better financial health, because you don't want somebody who is quote unquote more screwed than you, financially speaking, to co-sign the loan. It wouldn't work anyway. Okay, I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. I'm still having this conversation. I mean, I love this topic, by the way. It's just great because, educating people, trying to shed lights on very important topics is actually the motto of this channel, and we want to keep doing more of this, so this is fantastic. Now, if you want to get a large personal loan approved no matter what, step number 5, I want you to choose your loan type. There is a wide array. There is a plethora of loan options out there. And you want to get the loan type that matters to you. Once you know where your credit stands and you've considered your options, determine which type of loan is best for your situation. So while some lenders are flexible of how you use the funds, others may only approve loan applications if the money will be used for specific purposes. So you can't get a wedding loan, for example, and use that loan to actually improve your house or to fix something in the house. No. For example, one lender might let you take out a personal loan to fund your small business, yet a different lender might not allow you to use borrowed funds for business purposes at all. It's a generally smart move to find a lender that is comfortable loaning you money for the exact reason you need it. Okay, and so when we talk about loan types, we have a debt consolidation. First, we have regular loans, right? Personal loans, term loans. But you can also think about debt consolidation loans, credit card refinancing loans, home improvement loans, medical loans, emergency loans, wedding loans that I was just talking about earlier. I mean, everybody knows that, and this is one of my favorite loans, even though I think this is just the dumbest option because in terms of taking out a loan, taking a wedding loan is not a good investment. I mean, the way I see it, but this is another subject because we all understand that weddings and vacations can be pricey, but taking a wedding loan, you want to take a loan that produces, I would say, that really produces an asset. You can take a loan to buy a car or a house, but this is, I don't want to digress here. So my point here is what? The point is you need to choose your loan type. And once you choose the loan type, make sure that you find a lender that offers loans designed for your specific needs. That way, you'll be able to get a large personal loan approved no matter what. And this is kind of important because it also allows you, folks, when I'm talking about lenders, please, I want you to expand your analytical spectrum here. I want you to think large. I want you to think about everything from your local lender and local bank to online lenders, to hard money lenders, to alternative lenders, to the new constellation of apps that we have, everything from those apps like payoff all the way to apps like self to kickoff, the whole 9 yards. I want you to really think large here. Step number 6, folks, I want you to consider a cosigner. Now, a cosigner, I've said this before, it's important to have a cosigner. This is important. And a cosigner, there is a difference between a cosigner and a co-borrowers. I'm not going to get into the complexities of cosigner versus co-borrower here, but I just want you to remember that cosigners and co-borrowers are responsible for the loan should you default. So please be very careful about inviting someone from your entourage to kind of back you up in terms of the loan, because if push comes to shove and something goes wrong, they might be on the hook too. So it's you don't want to endanger a personal relationship or a social relationship because of money problems. Nobody wants that. Nobody needs that anyway. So you want to have an honest conversation with a prospective cosigner or co-borrower so they fully understand the risks before agreeing. And if somebody asks you if you were on the other side of the spectrum, if somebody comes to talk to you about being a cosigner or a co-borrower, talk to them about the risks and the risks and all the different scenarios. That way you know what you're getting yourself into. And step number 7, I want you to consider to compare lenders and interest rates. So once you know the factors that will affect your interest rate, the loan type, please compare lenders and interest rates. Nowadays, there are a lot of tools out there, again, from platforms such as NerdWallet to Nav to Bankrates. Those are my favorites, by the way. But there are other tools out there where you could basically sit down in front of your computer, sipping coffee or tea, whatever you want to sip, or vodka, by the way, and you can actually compare lenders and interest rates. And and that will help you to understand exactly if one lender is giving loans up to 100,000 and charging so and so percentage rate, while the other is actually lending up to 25 grand and charging so and so rate. You can see actually whether which one is good for you. Some lenders even allow you to have a pre-qualification process. So many, and we've seen this a lot with many online lenders. They have a pre-qual process that will let you, as a prospective borrower, see what interest rate and terms you will qualify for using something called a soft credit check. So it is not a hard pull, it's a soft pull, and a soft pull has no impact on your score. Step number 8, folks, I want you to pick a lender and apply. So you don't want to be stuck in what I call analysis paralysis, right? So you just constantly making a decision. I mean, constantly thinking, analyzing, overanalyzing, and procrastinating. No, if you want a large personal loan approved after doing the research you need to do, guess what? You gotta go and make that decision. Pick a lender and apply. Nobody cares about, don't worry about being rejected, because you will not be rejected if you apply methodically what I just told you here, what I'm telling you here. Okay, so after you've done your due diligence, pick the lender with the best offer for your needs, then start the application process. And it's just a lot better. And I've said this before, it's a lot better to actually start the process on the internet, because the application is faster. You get your funds once approved. You can get your fast as soon as 12 hours. Or 24 hours, okay? And remember, every lender is different regarding what information it will need on the application, but you will typically need to provide your name, address, and contact information, your income and employment information, and the reason for the loan. And you'll also share how much you want to borrow and may get a few options to consider after a soft credit check. You also get a chance to review the complete terms and conditions for the loan, including fees and your repayment period. And please, the fine print. So important. So important. You want to read through the fine print carefully to avoid hidden fees and other pitfalls. All right, folks. And we have done our research, and there are we wanted to show you 3 types of lenders that can help you. Of course, there are gazillions of lenders out there. We have spent a multitude of videos on that topic, but we wanted to share with you today 3 lenders, information about 3 lenders, very different lenders. So you have SoFi, which is an online lender, okay? And then, so SoFi is basically an online lending platform. So it's a loan marketplace. And then you have Lightstream, which is an online direct lender. They also lend on the internet. They lend online, rather. And you have Wells Fargo, a traditional bank. And we picked those 3 examples to kind of show you the typology, the variety of loan options out there. So if you take SoFi, for example, SoFi is an online lending platform that specializes in unsecured personal loans between $5,000 and $100,000. And loans are available in every state except Mississippi, and borrowers can take advantage of loan terms that range from 2 to 7 years and interest rates that start around 6% and go all the way to 20%. Borrowers must have a credit score that oscillates between a 520 to 680. And prospective borrowers can use SoFi's online pre-qualification tool to see what interest rate they might qualify for. And then you have Lightstream. Lightstream is the consumer lending arm of Truist, formerly SunTrust. And Lightstream offers personal loans up to $100,000, a completely online application process, and same-day funding. Isn't that wonderful? That's just fantastic. I mean, they get you the cash on the same day. Can you imagine that? Wonderful. And personal rates, the interest rates on the personal loans range from 4% to 20%. And the terms extend from 2 to 7 years. And then and the credit score, they want you to have a minimum of 520 to 660. Wells Fargo also is great. Wells Fargo provides loans from $3,000 to $100,000. Again, same thing, duration 1 to 7 years here, and the APR starts from 6% to around 25%. Step number 9, folks. Step number 9. If you want to get a large personal loan approved, no matter what, I want you to consider other ways to get a large loan. Because if a personal loan, I mean, stuff happens, right? You can try everything. You can do all the due diligence. You can try all those steps I gave you. And if nothing works so far, just don't be scared. Don't panic. There are options here. There are options. And there are three options we have found for you. Three options, okay? If a personal loan is not an option, there are other ways to get $100,000 or more in financing. There are options for people with equity in their homes or other real estate, including home equity loan, right? This is a lump sum loan that is secured by the borrower's equity in their home. So this involves taking out a second mortgage by borrowing against that equity. So because the loan is generally collateralized, the lender faces less risk than with unsecured loans, right? So you want to consider a home equity loan if you need a lump sum of cash and have substantial equity in your home. You can also think about a home equity line of credit, a HELOC. So like a home equity loan, a HELOC lets borrowers use their home equity to access a line of credit, which they can use on as needed, and only pay interest on the funds they borrow. If you have a lot of equity in your home and need funds over an extended period of time, rather than all at once, a HELOC may be a good option. And also think about cash out refinancing. So in contrast to home equity loans and HELOCs, cash out refinancing does not involve a second mortgage. And rather what it does is that the borrower in this scheme refinances his or her mortgage for more than the outstanding balance of the original mortgage and gets the difference as a lump sum payment. And this can be a great option if you have a high credit score and substantial equity in your home. Step number 10, last but not the least, folks, you want to gather the required documents. Before you apply, make sure that, again, these steps here are not in some kind of chronological or I would say some kind of objective order. It's just look at it as a package. As soon as you can tick off all those 10 elements from your checklist, then you're great. Gather the required documentation, okay? Before you apply for a loan, compile the required paperwork you will need to complete your application. And here I'm speaking about things like proof of identity, right? So driver's license, passport, or birth certificates, your social security number, employer and income verification, including pay stubs, tax returns, and W-2s, proof of address as evidenced by a utility bill, proof of insurance, a lease or rental agreement, or a voter registration card. You can also attach to it your bank statements. That's kind of cool also. And so anything that you believe will help your case, just attach it, or everything that is required by the lender, just go ahead and attach it. All right, folks. This was it for today's conversation. I want to thank you for your attention. I really appreciate it. And we are just so confident that if you apply those 10 steps, you will save thousands of dollars in interest over time. And what are the 10 steps I was talking to you about? Number one, if you want to get a large personal loan approved, no matter what, first, run the numbers. Very important, right? Clean up your credit. Consider your options. Know factors that will affect your interest rate. Don't go blind. Don't make a blind decision, folks. That doesn't work. Number 5, choose your loan type. Consider a cosigner. Compare lenders and interest rates. Pick a lender and apply. Consider other ways to get a large loan and gather the required documentation. Thank you so much for your attention once again. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.